Like, what is wrong in going after the money or going after the rat race when you can opt out of it later?
Like once you're inside the job, nobody cares what your educational qualification is. So keep that in mind as you think about preparing for your interviews.
Let's say at that point where you're earning whatever amount you desired, you're earning that. And tomorrow if you get fired, or you decide and say, maybe life comes in the way and you say you don't want to work anymore. Next month, if you don't have that salary, will you be able to survive?
I had a boss who said, Sharmini, don't tell me you can't do this. Tell me what you need to do that. So I would never go approach him with a negative thing saying I can't do it. I'd rather say, well, I guess this is challenging, but if you give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, I'll be able to accomplish that. Is it worth going abroad to study? As a mother who sent one of the sons to go abroad to study, academic excellence, knowledge of your subject, your brains to be rewired differently, yes, it's worth going. Value for money, no. Because now borders are getting closed. Countries don't want any other country to step in. So is there value for money? No. Is it really bad that I feel like the usual 9 to 5 job or the corporate rat race isn't for me? I feel like I prefer a slower life, prioritizing community and nature around me. What does the Bible say about it? Okay, I'll just answer the first bit. That's something you will have to check on yourself. Why is it that you don't like a 9 to 5 job? Is it because you don't like waking up in the morning? Is that why you don't like a 9 to 5 job? Or you're a very adventurous person? You like to try new things. If you have a family that can back you up financially for 4, 5 years and are not dependent on your source of income, and if you think that I really don't have to slog it out and settle in life, I can settle at 45, 50, and you want a slower pace of life right now, you can. But here's the catch. Like I said, there are seasons in life. Suddenly at 45, you wake up and see, oh, I've not done anything in life. You cannot go rewrite your story. So yes, slower pace, yes, there are jobs which are of a slower pace, lesser income. But what I understand from this question is like, you're talking about this Armenian community where they are closer to the soil, agriculture, shepherding and farming, and they live in a community of their own. They don't step out, they cook their own food, raise their children within a pot. If that's what you're talking about, then you got to live within that kind of a community. It still works. But if you're talking about being in the heart of Chennai, living a luxurious life, but I still want to go slow in pace and accommodate nature, then you're asking for contradicting environments to come together and help you. So I'll be available if you want to talk to any of us about it, we can help.
It is not absolutely right to correlate a corporate job to a rat race. It is very much possible to work in a private sector and still opt out of the rat race. What do we mean by the rat race? Rat race is the effort, the intentionality, and everything that you put in to climb up the ladder at whatever the cost may be. Someone has said the rat race is the rat in the race goes on till it eventually dies, which means, it is the one that kind of kills everything in you because the only thing is there to climb up the ladder. Now, that you need not necessarily fall into that. There are a lot of people in the corporate world who practice abundance over withholding information, being a lot more generous with their time with people around without having to kind of, play politics. People who would just be totally open and transparent and opt out of all the political games and still have a very contented and, as a matter of fact, much more peaceful and joyous community that they build within the corporate life. So if you're thinking once you get into the corporate world, it is going to be one dog eat dog world, not necessarily.
The latter half of the question is, what does the Bible say? It says a lot about hard work. It says a lot about sowing at the right time, harvesting at the right time. So Bible in no way says that we can be lethargic or laid back. It always encourages hard work through the seasons of life.
Can I survive even after choosing a job which doesn't go with my academic degree? Yes, you can. The question is, are you really interested in that job? Will you be able to wake up, go into work and give it your all every day with all your heart? If you can, then yes, you might have to start from a very different place. You might have to learn a lot of things new. In fact, every day might be different. But yes, you can absolutely love what you do. You can grow in that very trajectory, and you can, yes, like everybody else says, you can succeed. Yes, absolutely, you can.
One thing that you might wonder is if I studied something and it's all nice to say, yeah, you can get to a job, but how do I cross the hurdle of the interview? Could be a question that you might have. How do I convince myself I'm the best person on the job? Here is something that you want to think about when you prepare for interviews. There are two or three things that you need to think about, which is how do you understand the job that you're applying it for? What are some of the biggest challenges that is there? And why are you the best person to solve those problems? Why do companies hire people? Companies hire people because there is something to be done or some problems to be solved, right? Not for any other reason. They are not benevolent to kind of have a lot of money, so we need to give it to people, so they're not hiring. There are some things to be advanced, some work to be progressed, or some problems to be solved. If you can position yourself regardless of what your degree is or what your educational qualification is, as to why is it that you are the best person to be able to advance the causes the company wants to advance, or how is it that you're the best person positioned to solve the problem, if you are able to clearly articulate and genuinely say that you're able to do it, and of course prove it once you've got the job, as Nivi said, like once you're inside the job, nobody cares what your educational qualification is. So keep that in mind as you think about preparing for your interviews.
What if the only job opportunities that come my way are immoral according to my values, but are okay according to the people around me? Do I adapt and be employed or be stubborn and be jobless?
Wow, what a negative world we live in. Everything we see around is immorality. Uh, I don't understand the genuinity of the question, but if it's really genuine, I think we can do a one-on-one. Because if you're saying that all the jobs around you to your academic qualifications only immoral jobs, or have you filtered it down to a particular area, industry, and you want people around you want you to get into that industry, but you think it's an immoral industry, then that's a different story altogether. But my take would be there are moral jobs as well.
It's a very hypothetical question, as Akka kind of struggle it is. If you kind of share a little more, it is easy. Does it say all jobs are immoral?
Yes.
Okay.
What if the only job opportunities come my way are immoral?
Okay. Yeah. So maybe if someone wants to clarify, that'll be helpful. But otherwise, I don't agree that. I believe I'm employed and I'm fairly moral. I don't have to go against my conscience in what I'm doing. So, which means I don't agree to that premise.
Unless you're talking about ethics of the job. No, that's a different thing. It's not immorality, but there are ethics. Wherever you work, like Dan said, you can still stand up for your ethics and says, I won't do this. These are things that I won't, fudge my accounts. I won't do it. That's ethics. But immorality is a completely different thing. But yeah, whoever asked it, we'll be happy to talk to you.
So, like constantly we were hearing things like, how to not get, addicted or, constantly chase the surface level kind of things or the materialistic things. We should chase our, the accomplishment or the sense of satisfaction, all of that, right? But then at this age in our life, maybe, and maybe for even a little longer, we will all constantly, like right now, go after the money, or right now you will maybe our passion, if it is that big of a passion, but like that meme we saw, we are all just waiting to know what our passion is. So right now, I like what is wrong in going after the money or going after the the rat race when you can opt out of it later and choose to, like, okay, I got how much money I wanted, now let's look for the greater meaning in life.
Just an example of somebody that I knew. Like you're saying, yes, it makes sense. This age, yes, the money is very attractive because everything in the world requires money, right? And so this person, he goes on to earn so much. At a point, he's fired. Now the problem is the amount of money that he was earning was so high, his EMIs were equal to that. Now nobody's going to pay him that much, and he's stuck at a point where he doesn't know what to do. So it's not wrong. Honestly, looking at the money point of view is not at all wrong. It's in fact a very, very important thing because yes, stability, fun, excitement, all of that comes from the money. But it's just that you need to have something else that will keep you there. And you're saying you can opt out of the rat race later, but honestly, it's not as easy as that, because life will catch up, and at a point you will be stuck. You will want to, with all your heart, you will want to step out of it, but you will be caught between a rock and a hard place, and that is where I think it becomes difficult.
Mostly Nivi has clarified clearly, because we have a tendency to immediately raise our lifestyle in keeping with the income that we get. My first job was 15,000, right? And today I probably earned several times of that. It's not like I could live with that 15,000. Obviously, the lifestyle goes up. And that's where the challenge is. If all that you're going after is, I'm not saying all that you're going is that, but if primarily the focus is that, and then if your lifestyle has gone in keeping with it, then it's very difficult for you to make a shift. There are people who have done it, who have intentionally taken a cut and decided, okay, I'm going to prioritize something over the other. Many moments of truth come up in life, but it isn't that easy. That's one. On the other hand, if you start thinking about it in this way, that money is needed. Now, for a moment, none of us said money is not important. But the way the world makes it look like money is all there is. You look at the media, you look at the advertisement, you look at the glitz and glamour of what the world talks about. It makes it look like it kind of takes the material things and keeps it at a pedal much higher, which is not true. Because after a point in time, you'll actually realize, big deal, what's there in it. It doesn't kind of give you the satisfaction. So what we're saying is, yes, it is needed as a hygiene factor, which means there's like a basic price of entry. It's like an entry point. But that entry point has to be decided by you, whether it is 10 lakhs per month, or is it 2 lakhs per month, or it's 50,000 per month, or whatever it is, and then go behind things that kind of really give you satisfaction and contentment in life. If you're able to get that sweet spot, I think that's fantastic.
Like Anna said, you start at a point and then eventually maybe you really kick off, your career kicks off, and then you start earning a lot. And especially corporate companies, they pay you a lot. And when you keep switching between companies, eventually you'll reach a point where even you will not believe, oh, I'm earning so much. But the question is, let's say at that point where you're earning whatever amount you desired, you're earning that. And tomorrow if you get fired, or you decide and say, maybe life comes in the way and you say you don't want to work anymore. Next month, if you don't have that salary, will you be able to survive? For the next 1 year, if you don't have a job, will you be able to survive? So if you are able to say yes, if you have planned your finances in such a way that you're able to manage for years after you've left your job, then great. You can go after that money, because even after you quit, you will not regret it. You will still be happy that you did what you did, you earned what you could, and you were able to manage. So when I moved from my hospital admin, I worked in a hospital. It was a very low salary, and when I switched to corporate, I could not believe what they were paying me. When I saw that offer letter, I had to look 3 times. I said, me? Are they giving me this much money? I didn't ask for it, and they gave it. And then my dad told me one thing. He said, see, imagine that you're still earning that first salary, because let's say you decide to quit your job and do something else, maybe go back and work in a hospital, because that's honestly where my heart is. You will not be paid this much, but will your lifestyle be able to match that? Enjoy yourself, do whatever you want to do, but you should be able to adapt yourself to any other situation that life puts you in and still be satisfied. See, that still be satisfied is the hook there. You will still go back to it, but if you're complaining and you just hate your life, then there's no point. But if you're able to be satisfied and say, yeah, I enjoyed that for a while and now I'm back to doing what I love, that's that balance.
What happens if we get into a cycle of choosing the accidental alternative all the time?
What if we get into choosing the incidental alternatives, that becomes a cycle all the time? Someone said that one of the admirable qualities or characters of people's life is consistency. We all aim for, the big moves, the quick shifts, and all of that. But life in itself is that ability to go in the same direction in a steady, as a prodding space, not like a marathon. Question is, why are you caught in that cycle of always going behind the incidental alternatives, and how quick is that incidental alternatives? There are a lot of people I know who get extremely excited about a new opportunity that comes their way, and they'll do is to talk about that for the next 6 weeks, and then 3 or 4 months later start complaining about it. A year later they'll say, you know what, I'm looking for the next one, and then the whole cycle repeats again and again and again. If that is the challenge, I really don't think it is. The problem is not about the alternatives. The problem is somewhere deep within the character of the inability to be steady in the same direction consistently. That I think is a challenge that you'll have to overcome, which because life in itself is not one kind of fairyland that you kind of move from one excitement to the other and all of that. If that's what you're chasing behind and somewhere you're thinking there is one utopia that is going to deliver to you the ultimate, you'll wake up and realize there isn't. It is that ability to be consistently going after. That's one, right? And the other thing is, well, I'm really not satisfied. I probably spent about 3 4 years 5 years, I've explored this, but now I'm still not getting it, and I'm trying for another one. In my view, that's, I don't have a problem with that. But how quickly are you making the decision and moving? Have you given your all? Have you tried your best? Have you gone, have you really stretched your limits and tried to make it work? And have you spent few years, maybe even a decade, and then you're figuring out that doesn't work? Perfectly fine. Career is not something that you're wedded to, that you cannot move out of that. So, yeah.
A brave student has asked, do we need a master's degree?
We've come to a point where even college degree is not needed. Ford in North America says, hey, skip your college degree, come work with us. We'll train you for 6 months and you work with us. Amazon is doing that. In the age of AI, I don't know if some of you have, explored, learnyourway.com. Google has it. You kind of feed in some of the information that you want, and then you say, explain all these concepts in, I love singing or I love basketball. Explain all these concepts in a way a basketball fan would love. It kind of converts all the physics concepts, all the chemistries, formulas, everything in a way a basketball fan can understand. It kind of communicates to you. So, which means education is going through a lot of transformation. And in my personal view, it is due for a long change. It's been one of those undisrupted field for years together. So, personally, in my view, I don't think, college degree is needed. But what college degree gives you is it builds a lot of your character. It helps you connect with people. It helps you go and put your best effort behind some things, even if you don't like it or if you don't enjoy it. Kind of makes you, work hard and try to do that. It kind of gives you sufficient challenges. It kind of assesses you. It helps you, gives you the discipline of going in a particular time and coming out. It kind of trains you in life in many other ways. It helps you what we call as a learning to learn. Neural pathways are created in your mind about when you kind of put an effort into something, which typically doesn't happen. So if you're a committed lifelong learner, and if you have mastered the basics of discipline, getting up at a particular time, not giving up easily, delayed gratification, all those fundamentals of discipline, if you've mastered, don't take my word for the bank, but then I personally don't believe degrees or PG degrees are that critical.
What Hannah is saying is mostly true. There are certain careers where a master's degree will be required. For example, if I were to think that I can make it with just a BDS degree without upskilling or doing any of that all my life, then I'll be kidding myself, because I won't have any patience. So in the medical field especially, these days, you all are more smart than the doctor. So you all Google everything, ask ChatGPT, you have the treatment plan ready, and then you go and test the doctor to see if what he's saying is matching your answer here. So in that case, if it's just, think about it, right? If it's a doctor and he has only an MBBS or a BDS behind his name, I don't think you would walk into that clinic. You would want somebody who has multiple alphabets after their MBBS degree. So I think it's very specific. But end of the day, it's about upskilling. If you think that you just do one bachelor's degree and it's okay for the rest of your life, if you're lucky enough, yes. But with the changing times, I think constant upskilling in whatever you want to do, whatever is the latest thing, whatever they're working on, upskilling yourself constantly, that will definitely be useful.
What drives you on days you don't feel like working?
Okay, I'm back to the various seasons of my life. Probably between 30 and 40 is the paycheck I had to bring back home. That will drive me. Between the 40 and 50 is kids are grown out of the house. What am I going to sit at home and do? I'd rather do something more impactful at work. Now, why do I go to work? I'm able to encourage somebody, put something in place. There's a lot of contribution that I do into my workspace. So, yeah, different seasons, different things drove me.
I've been working for the last 21 years. Honestly, I can't think of a time where I felt like I don't want to do this. It's not because I love my job and I'm fallen in love with it. None of those. I'm honestly trying to think about it. It's probably the way I'm wired, which is if I've taken up something, I just need to go and deliver it. That's it. Keep doing it again and again and again, even if it's required. So yes, there is this paycheck and everything, but I've never felt like I need some kind of a push or some kind of a pep in my steps to keep going. So I'm not able to relate to the question. Now, is there anything else that I felt like doing? Yes. If it comes my way, will I take it up? Yes. But as of now, I don't think there is anything that's like, oh my goodness, my alarm clock is gone and I need to drag myself out of my bed, and my wife is not pushing me out of the door and said, go do whatever it is, please come back with a paycheck. It's not that's happening. So it never happened.
I don't think I'm qualified enough to answer this question, given that I have only about 4 years of experience. But knowing that somebody is probably dependent on me to do certain things that day, and if I don't go, then things would not work out the way it should have. I don't like the feeling. So I would rather just be there and do what I'm supposed to do. It's not like I enjoy my work. I like whatever I do, even the boring parts of it. I try to make it interesting somehow. But the impact, I always think of the impact. If I'm not there today, also if I don't go in today, I'll have double work tomorrow. That's also true. But also the fact that there are other people involved and people might be impacted if I don't go and do what I'm supposed to do.
Poetry is all about literary aspect. Can I involve content creation and entertainment with it? Or can I do both author and director?
I would like to call myself to be in that space, but I think you can. When it comes to arts, there's no rule. But one thing you'll have to be careful in arts is very personal, right? When you say, whoever asked this question, when you say poetry and all that, it's something very personal. Most of the time, what is personal will not make sense in terms of money making. What you do as art that is very personal will not bring money to the table. So you also need another line of income. So if you think you want to be involved in direction or whatever it is, or poetry, you want to create a new line of art, that's absolutely fine. But that's going to take at least 3 to 5 years for you to start making money out of it. So you can do it, of course, yes, but make sure you also has another line of income as you try pursuing in that line. But of course, you can do how you want to. It's art. There's no rule to it.
What's one career advice that you received as a student that you still hold on to or that has changed your life?
I think both of it I got in my early years of work. The first manager that I worked for clearly said, when you take on a task, complete it. Whether you like it or you're not, you've signed up for a task, you have to complete it. So that's one career advice. And of course, the second one is I had a boss who said, Sharmini, don't tell me you can't do this. Tell me what you need to do that. So I would never go approach him with a negative thing saying I can't do it. I'd rather say, "Well, I guess this is challenging, but if you give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, I'll be able to accomplish that." So that gave me a very different perspective when I started working after that.
I've got a lot of bad advice. So let me tell you what didn't work for me. One advice was always ensure that when you do a job, that everybody knows it's you who did it. So the focus is not just doing a job, but ensuring that you did it. Somehow I've found that if your effort goes into not just doing it and putting a brand behind it and a name behind it, you burn a lot of bridges, and it doesn't, in the long run, it kind of hurts you. I've often found do a fantastic job, don't care who gets the recognition, has worked exceptionally well for me. You build great relationships, you and your team accomplish phenomenally great things if you just do great things without caring for who did it. And the other thing that I've been told, which is a wrong thing, is when you have great information and you know a lot, don't share it with others. I'll tell you, please share a lot. The more you share, the more you learn. The more you share with others, the more trust they build with you. And the more that trust they build with you, it is an intangible currency that is unmatched. There are a lot of things I can get done simply because of the trust that I have done, that even people above who are people with influence and more authority cannot do, simply because of the trust that you've built. So a couple of poor advices I've got. Thankfully, I didn't live up to it, and I don't regret it.
One thing one of our mentors said was, irrespective of what you do, enjoy it. Try and love it. Not force yourself to love it, but it's just about a mindset shift. You look at it with a very different perspective, not that, oh no, I have to do this, but more like, oh, I get to do this. I get to do this. So I used to, in the hospital, there were tasks that I had to do which I didn't have to, but as in, it was not a part of my JD, but then because of the situation around, I would have to do stuff like that, which others would not have enjoyed. But for me, irrespective of what I did, that was the mindset I went in with. I said, I get to do this, so I'm going to enjoy it. So even if it's the most boring data entry thing that I have to do right now, I still try and make it fun, try and enjoy it. So that way, I don't come back home and say, oh, I wish work was better today. I've never said that. So at least I say, oh, at least I did this today. In fact, there are days when I don't have anything to do. I have gone to my manager and said, I don't have work, give me work. Much to annoyance of others, I have said this. But that's how it is. So if you just try and enjoy whatever you do, not a single day would be boring.